And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. We are kicking off crawfish season here in Houston. And take a look at this spread, what we have ready for you tonight. Too bad you can't get none. I mean, but it's good looking at it, right? Right? And we have Mike Trent with Mike's Seafood here. So, Mike, what we want to talk about this year are crawfish prices. Now,
Yes,
we have a graphic that we're going to put up, and here's what we're hearing from some of the so-called experts out there, but you are the expert with us. And of course, we're hearing that in 2025, the price of crawfish in Texas is anywhere from $9.99 to $12.99 per pound in restaurants, and $7 to $9 per pound for a sack to boil at home. That would be live crawfish. And the price of shrimp varies with size, but we're hearing the cost $7 a pound and $7.62 a pound, varying on the size, and Dungeness crabs about $5 per pound on average. So your thoughts about those prices? Are they accurate, close, what? And do you have any good news for us when it comes to those prices?
Well, actually, crawfish is dropping right now. My vendors like Andrew from Lafitte and Captain Sin, they're selling anywhere from $4.50 to $5.25 a pound for when you buy in a sack. But hey, here's the news: with the snow crabs, it's going to be going up with the little tariff war that we got with Canada. It's going to be going up, so we'll be looking out for that.
And when you say your sacks are anywhere from 4 to what, 7?
Well, I mean, they're $4.50 a pound to $5.25 a pound retail.
But would that be for the average customer? If we walk up and get a sack of crawfish, would we pay the same?
No, of course not. Retail, like restaurant, we get a little.
I knew it was a scam, Mike. I knew it was a damn scam.
Hey, it is what it is. We buy them by bulk, by thousands of pounds, so we get a little price break here and there from.
But that's good news for your customers. The numbers and the prices that you have inside of your restaurants for cooked is cheaper than what we gave.
That's correct. We're doing $8.99 a pound from Monday through Thursday. We're running a special: buy 5 pounds, get 1 pound free at all 3 of our locations.
And of course, what people don't consider, if they look at the live crawfish and say, that's $5 a pound in a sack, but you have to put in the labor, you have to put the seasonings, the water, all of that costs you as a business owner.
You're absolutely correct. You know, you got the time to put in. You can come to us where we know what we're doing, and like I said, at the end you got to pay for butter and all the other stuff that comes along with it. So you know, it's going to come out costing just the same, if not more.
All right, Mike. So we're not done yet. We're kicking off crawfish season here at the Factor Uncensored. As you can see, we have the live crawfish. We're going to take you from the sack to the pot, and then stalling. Swing over here. We're going to take you to the table as well and look at some alternatives if you can't afford crawfish. Some very good alternatives that are out there. So make sure you stay with us here on the Factor Uncensored. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. We're kicking off crawfish season for you here on the Fox lot. And of course, we have Mike Trent from Mike's Seafood, along with his general manager, Jay Allen, out here as well. So we want to go from the sack to the pot. So is that something for a novice or someone who has no experience? Should they be doing that, Mike?
I think anybody can do this. You know, it's a simple process. Like what we do, we get them in every morning from Louisiana. We separate them. We take all the dead crawfish out, all the trash, take it all out. Next up is what we do. We wash them. Now here's the contrary to belief that, hey, we soak it in salt water. We don't do none of that. That's a myth. We just wash them, continually wash them until the water is clear and clean like that, you see? Once the water is clear like that, they're good to go. And that's it.
For those, Mike, who said the salt would purge them, make the crawfish spit up the dirt, is there any truth to that?
No, it's a myth. I don't think any restaurants out there doing that. We go through thousands of pounds and hundreds of sacks. You imagine how much salt would be necessary to do all that. And we don't do that. We just wash them till the water's clean.
And of course, to keep them from being murky, what do you do other than just washing them so they won't taste murky like mud?
Wash them. Just thoroughly wash the hell out of them until the water's clean like that, clear, then it's good to go. That's how we do it, and I think majority of folks that we know, that's how they do it.
And Jay, many people have tried to cook their crawfish in their house, like me. But that's not a good place for it, right? Especially if you're not a restaurant or business. Outdoors would be best, right?
Best be. I think it's better to be outdoors doing it.
And of course, once you and Mike, we'll let you start. We'll talk to Jay. So he's gonna get them out of the water, and as you can see, the water is really clean there, right?
Yes, sir.
And of course, when you put it in the pot, should you have your seasonings in the pot already, or you put the crawfish in the water? Tell us how that process goes.
Best thing to do is have your season ready and before you start boiling.
And have it in the pot, and obviously you want the water to be hot when you put the crawfish in.
Very, very hot. Yes, sir.
And when you put them in the hot water, Mike, let's bring you back in. How long should they boil?
Average 8 to 9 minutes. Usually once they start rising up and the color turns red, the shell turns red, we turn off and let them stay in there and let it soak. The key important thing is you gotta let them soak. That's where the flavor gets in the head. When you suck it on the head, the juice comes out, that's from the soaking.
And of course, what's the time, is the suggested time for soaking after you've boiled them? Do you at least keep it like warm with some fire, or you turn it completely off, and how long will you soak them?
Well, you turn it completely off. The fire turns completely off in about 15 minutes. You can actually see when it starts sinking. That's when they suck in, they fully soak. Some people actually use a trick called icing. They dump ice in there to make it, soak faster. That's a trick that a lot of coon asses do. But like I said, after you're doing a bunch of sacks, sometimes it's not ideal because it's going to dilute the water.
And tell me some of the seasonings that you use. Obviously, you have some of your own secret ingredients, but the regular routine stuff that you would tell a beginner to use.
Well, a lot of folks use these Zatarain, Slap Your Mama, Louisiana. Of course, everybody has their own different twist to it. I can't tell you what I put in it, but I can tell you, most times it's going to be Louisiana seasoning. That's what we use.
Okay, and you use the seasoning, but also a lot of people, like my family, we use onions, we use oranges, we use lemons. Tell us a little bit about those.
That's absolutely, you got to use fresh ingredients like fresh garlic, fresh onions, and throw a couple limes in there, a couple oranges in there, get a little citrus flavor in there. Yeah.
I'm trying to get your secret ingredient, and hopefully you slip up, Mike. Okay, also, we don't want to put the potatoes and corn in with the crawfish at the same time, right? Or what?
I prefer to cook my potatoes separately from the crawfish, and then sometimes, like I said, the corn too. It's at home you can cook the corn and the sausage with the crawfish. I prefer to cook them separate in seasoned water.
And what's the difference if you cook it separate in different water?
Believe it or not, potatoes actually leave like a bad taste in the water when you do it with the crawfish. So I prefer to cook the potatoes separate. Yeah.
But there's no getting a secret recipe from you tonight.
No. You're going to have to kill me, all right? Yeah, that ain't going to work.
We won't kill you, Mike.
No.
You got crawfish you're making.
No.
And, of course, we're going to continue our kickoff of the crawfish season here at the Factor Uncensored on the Factor Lot. And we're going to talk more about some alternatives and some other great recipes this crawfish season. We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment. And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. We're kicking off crawfish season here on the Fox Lot. We've gone from the pot, from the sack to the pot, and now to the table. We have Natalia Daniel with Dax here. See, you caused it. You and Crystal caused it. I was flowing. And she made me butcher your name. Okay, tell us what you have here for crawfish season at Dax.
Hi, I'm Natoya Danielle, and I am the general manager at Dax. And for crawfish season, we had to give y'all the variety pack. Everybody doesn't eat traditional crawfish, but we do have that traditional crawfish for you now. We have the corn, we have the potatoes, we have the sauces on the side. And for those who want something else a little different, we also have a crawfish and shrimp garlic bread. We also have the boudin stuffed with crawfish egg rolls. That's something that, people want to come and try. Now, we have a crawfish Cajun pasta that's served with garlic bread on the side, as well as a po' boy. And for those of you who don't know the history of the po' boy, back in the 1800s in New Orleans, we had a lot of immigrant workers that were working and couldn't really afford big lunches. So they got together, they would get a big slice of bread, get some sandwich meat, and put it together to make an efficient snack for them. And that's where the po' boy came from. Also, we have our fish po' boy here. Yeah, the catfish po' boy. We're coming up on Good Friday, so that's a good alternative for people who may not want the crawfish. And then we also have our traditional seafood boil, where you can get it with crab, shrimp, all the little sides of shrimp and potatoes and everything. So it's a good mix. And don't forget to get our signature daiquiris when you visit the bar.
Absolutely. Now, for those who are trying to work their way to crawfish, and they're afraid of crawfish, and there are a lot of people who don't like crawfish, Malia Carruthers. And so how are you able to convince them to try it? Because once you try, there's no going back.
Just dig in. All that being scary, look, some people like it with the gloves. Some people like me. I'm from Louisiana, baby. We just go ahead and dig on there.
Here come, and can the meat come right out?
Go ahead, twist it. Get that meat out. You got to suck the head, though. Get the juice and the flavor. Go ahead. Take off that first little, go ahead and take off that first little layer, and then, and you got that meat.
All right, Natalia's sucking them heads. All right. Let's go to David and Skip. And David is with, he's the owner of Dan's Seafood and Wings. What do you have for crawfish season, sir?
For crawfish season, we have a lot of boiled seafood. We have our boiled shrimp. That's our most popular item by far. We also have boiled crab legs. Right now we're getting them in from Alaska, but like Mike was saying earlier, I think prices will start going up as the season continues and we have to get them from Canada. But, you know, crawfish is really spicy, so a lot of times people like to get some pasta with that or fried rice, just kind of mix it up. It kind of makes it a little bit more bearable because that spice can really get to you.
All right.
Yeah.
And Skip, how do you guys set your food apart at your restaurant, at your business?
So for customers that's more willing to try different stuff, we have our frog legs.
Wait, get that, son, frog legs!
Oh yeah. It's deep fried, and we saute it on our China wok to caramelize our seasoning, which is a sweet soy. It's very good. Must try.
Now, we know frog legs from being very popular in Florida. Do you see them catching on here in Texas as well? Are people asking for them? Is that why you have them?
Definitely. Everybody that's tried it the first time, they have came back for it, if they're willing to try it. Next up, we have our pan roast, a tomato seafood bisque served with jumbo shrimp, sausage, and crab meat. Over here, we have our shaken beef, classic backlot Vietnamese dish. Wings down here, our signature flavor would be a honey lemon pepper. Yes, sir. Classic chicken lo mein, but instead of using chicken breast, we do use chicken thigh. Classic Vietnamese gà nướng. Yes, sir.
All right, and you guys are with Dan's Seafood and Wings. We appreciate you coming out. Is that Dr. Dietrich von Biedenfeld eating crawfish down there? Shouldn't you be on Trump time, not on crawfish time?
I'm over here working hard.
We want to thank you guys for joining us. We'd like to thank Dan, Dax, and Mike from Mike's Seafood. And of course, hopefully we gave you some tips that you guys needed here on the Factor On Set. And what is that? Come on, don't whisper it.
South by Saigon.
South by Saigon in the house. And thank you guys for joining us. Have a great night.